edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I am your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Still hype that Mac McClung dunk contest, man. Absolutely beautiful. Thought Tyrese Halliburton might actually pull out that 3-point contest after his first round, man, but kind of choked. Damian Lillard, his first trophy, man. Congratulations, Damian Lillard, man. Congratulations.
And he called it before, man. Pulled the Larry Bird, man. He's like, I'm going to win this. And
he needs to win something.
And just like Larry Bird, he won it on the last shot.
Yeah, he did.
He won 26-25. Buddy Hield was ahead. Damian Lillard had to hit like 4 of the last 5 shots, hit it, and won it, man. So that was incredible. All the greatest shooters in the history of the basketball has won the 3-point contest. From Larry Bird to Steph Curry to Klay Thompson, man. Damian Lillard, pulling up from half court, one of the greatest shooters ever. Got one just for him.
Has Ray Allen won one before? I'm sure he has.
I believe so.
I'm sure he has.
Probably.
Maybe in his supersonic days.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that at least in the 3-point competition, we do have legit stars actually participate in that. I have a theory. I think it's probably less embarrassing to miss shots versus missing the dunk. I don't know. But I do like that, we do have younger guys. No, he was a disappointment. There was a couple of guys that were pretty disappointing. Like Hero's shot. Watching him go through it, he was so slow. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it's a lot of movement.
If you're like a jump shooter, it is not good for you because it takes up too much.
You got to be a set guy. Yeah, a set guy. That's why Halliburton was smoking at the beginning. Yeah. But it was just cool to see all the stars. I know a lot of people. I feel like it's just watch, rinse, repeat with just how we don't like the All-Star game. But I mean, to me, and I guess it's because I've gotten older. It's just whatever. Like, I don't even feel like it's for me.
That second half was
not for me.
It was pretty awful.
I didn't watch it, to be honest. I didn't watch it.
Me neither.
The beginning, and because I'm not a big Sunday watch guy, anyways. I watched it whenever they started doing the competition or where they're doing it for the charities. I think whenever they implemented that the first year, I watched it. But after that, I'm a Saturday night guy.
They still have it.
Yeah. I'm a Saturday night guy. I don't really care for the game.
More.
Yeah.
But you know what? One thing they got to revamp, man, the skills challenge, man, because that was disgraceful.
That was horrible.
Brick City.
The
Antetokounmpo?
Okay. The Antetokounmpos, man, I'm sorry.
You could have seen that coming.
I don't see their brother, man, because that dude got them some full-paying NBA jobs, man. Because the only reason they have NBA jobs or G League jobs is because of his brother. Because they are absolutely trash. Second of all, the rookies, man, in the jump shooting challenge, I swear to God, they missed 15 in a row.
Jaden Ivey,
Paolo Banchero, and Jabari Smith were bricking so many shots that I was like, for a skills challenge, I think NBA looking a little sad, man.
Yeah.
That was bad for the product.
That was G League level, man.
Dude, legit. These are wide open, set shots. Like, when you see NBA players, practicing, they drain everything. Even, Rajon Rondo could jack up threes and make it practice. But, man, I feel like the lights got a little too high, man. They look – that was cringing, man.
It was surprising.
They hit, 2 shots. They went 2 for 2 for 20. It was so bad.
They ended up pulling up on the closest one. Banchero made 2 of those, man. That's all they made. He didn't make anything outside.
Dude, it was so bad, man. Skills challenge, more like lack of skills challenge, man. That's what I was watching because it was awful. It was a little embarrassing. That's all I gotta say. Adam Silver, man, a little embarrassed because of that.
NBA's got to do a little
they gotta
switch
fix
up.
They gotta fix that. And that passing challenge, I don't know. Man, they were just chucking out dodgeballs, man. I don't know what I was watching.
Maybe a little 3-on-3 tournament could be something.
3-on-3 or 1v1, man.
NHL did that.
I need that.
They need to make it half court 3-on-3 games or something like that to make it maybe less injuries or less running up and down the court. I know it kind of provides the highlight reel, but something switch it up, kind of do what the NFL is doing, but maybe take a little bit better notes.
Yeah, it was hard to watch the skills challenge just from this year. Like I said, normally I do like Saturday night, and I'm more of a Saturday night guy, and that's mainly because I think the 3-point contest is what I enjoy the most, just because it's just cool to see a guy rip off, and it just feels like it's more competitive spirit within that specific skill. But yeah, Silver's got to come with some revamp because they I don't know if it's more of a revamp or do we want the players to actually care? Because I'm telling you, out of all the All-Stars, if you are an observer of All-Star weekends normally of how it usually – the players, have them hungover. It's not like what people thinking is. It's not like maybe baseball where there's something to it, or even maybe football because they're maybe there a day or two. Basketball, the culture is different. They're not the All-Star game. Back in the day, it used to mean something, but now I don't think the guys they're there for the party, and the All-Star game is cool, but they're not there to have like to actually do it. That's why I don't ever get up in arms because I know the culture of the NBA. If you watch John Morant's Instagram nights before the All-Star game, he's not caring about playing an All-Star game. He's trying to find a party. That's how it goes. And there's no shade to John, but it's just the culture of the NBA. So it's like, yeah, it actually is their time off.
Nice little bonus,
Yeah, it's just, so I don't know. It's just, for me, I think it's for kids. The kids like it, enjoy it. They want to see the dunks and all 3-point shots. But we're going to be talking about the NBA today. I think it's 23, 24 games left until postseason play. So we're going to be talking about teams in terms of their tiers of, tanking or people who should be in, or teams who should be in full playoff mode. I don't know if you guys, are aware of the standings, but especially in the Western Conference, it's really tight. So a lot of teams could be a week or two from now in pole position for the playoffs and then actually be in a position where they could be tanking. So I wanted to ask the guys, what are their tiers for each team and what mode should they actually be in when it comes to tanking or actually trying to make the playoffs and win a championship? And P-Bush, I'm going to start with you.
All right, Zoo, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to start Eastern Conference, and I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go contenders, pretenders, and then tankers. I think that's kind of like the 3. It's tough because there is kind of that cutoff point where you could probably make even more tiers, to be honest, man. But I think the top 2 in the East are pretty clear, man. You got the Celtics and you got the Bucks. Those guys, absolute contenders. Bucks have won 12 games in a row. Middleton's kind of starting to, he's getting acclimated more after coming off of his injury. Man, still needs to get a haircut. I'll say that. But
Brodie.
Yeah. But this Bucks team, man, they're doing exactly what we expected them to do heading into 2023, hitting that third 40%, 45% way through the season, and they've just been hot the past couple weeks or so. So, those are 2. Obviously, Celtics kind of speak for themselves, man. The deepest team in the league, I think. The Grant Williams getting an all-star nod was a little surprising, but man, you see that game when I think it might have been, it was a couple weeks ago when Jason and Jalen, they were both out. Man, Derek White just comes in and puts up like 26 points. They take the Bucks to overtime.
He's a good shooter, man. He gets like 3, man.
So yeah, man, those are my top 2. And then the other 3 teams, I guess I kind of consider as potentially being able to make a run in the East is the Sixers, Cavs, and the Nets. I have the Nets on there.
Nets?
I have the Nets on there too.
Stop.
I'm not saying they're going to make the finals. But
they're a good team, Zoo.
Yes, they're better than like the Knicks and the.
You have them in the contenders?
I have them on the cusp. They're the cusp team. They're the cusp team.
You have them as the 1 move away team. Is that what
correct?
The 1 move away.
Even though they
can't
make a move
away.
Yeah.
But I know they can't really make a move. They probably could have gone for Russ if they wanted to, but I think it harps on a lot of what Mikal Bridges is able to get going. Can Ben Simmons actually come back and play decent minutes for them? And can they get Seth Curry back, who I think is obviously a huge piece? And then and once again, Zoo, I'm not saying that they're going to make a run to the finals. I think that they could just give another one of these top teams a run for their money in the second round in a potential game, 6-game series or something like that. And they're obviously kind of in that no man's land where, look, they already got all the draft picks. They got rid of pretty much all their major contracts off except for Ben Simmons. And they're kind of poisoning themselves for the future, but they still have probably, of all the teams that don't have an absolute superstar, they probably have the best role playing in the Eastern Conference. And I don't think you can deny that. I mean, the Sixers, the Cavs, the Celtics, the Bucks, they all have studs. Hell, even the Knicks and Heat have better one-off players. But the Nets just somehow stay relevant, man, because they can shoot the ball, they have decent rebounding, and they have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money at this point. So that's kind of my contenders with a +1 right there with the Nets, man.
Man, I gotta stop you there, man. The Brooklyn Nets, man. You know what I call them? A cute story, man. They're the cute story team. This is the cute story tier, man. They got a nice little team, man. They're gonna be around like the 500 area. They're not gonna be god awful like somebody like the Chicago Bulls, man. But they're gonna be like a good team that's respectable, that plays hard every time, man. But they're that nice little. I would call them like it's a nice little playoff team, man. But first round exit, man. Maybe fall out of the play-in tournament. Man, maybe fall out fall into the play-in tournament, man, because they could get knocked out of the play-in tournament. So I have that in that play-in tier, man. That 7-8 seed, man. So they ain't no contenders. And I don't even think they're one move away from being a contender, man. But for me in the East, man, easy, man. Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, the 76ers, man, they're in the same tier. People sleeping on the 76ers right now. They're really getting it figured out. Joel Embiid's injury always scares me because the dude's a Band-Aid every single year in the playoffs. There's always something about him. Hurt his hand, hurt his head, hurt his face, hurt his knee. It's like stomach poisoning. Like, there's always something with Joel Embiid, man. But I'm just praying to God this guy stays healthy because I think this guy deserves a chance. He has a team, a supporting cast that could help him win a championship. With James Harden, his second best player, with Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey playing that Jordan Poole type of role off the bench, the combo guard, they can score, man. It's a little more balanced than starting lineup, man. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of Doc Rivers, but that team is extremely talented, man. And I have them up there
Harris
as a third option.
You say that every year, man. You say it every year.
No.
In the
past, no. Yeah. He's the third option, man. He's getting paid max money, which is an issue. But he's at the third option, man. So I'm good with Tobias Harris as my third best player on a championship contender team, man. So I got those three as my true championship contenders, man. I got the Cavs. I got the Cat. I have them one move away.
Tier below. Okay.
Yeah, the tier below, man. They're close. A little acquisition offseason, man. You jump in that contenders, man. I was talking about Bogdanovich, man. I wanted to get a wing guy that could dribble the ball, could score the ball. They didn't really get it done. So they still got that big hole in the wing position because with the guards, you got all-star caliber guards and all-star caliber bigs. You're missing that one wing, that final piece of the puzzle to
3-and-D.
So legit, yeah, like someone like an OG Anunoby. I always like throwing out OG Anunoby, like the typical 3-and-D wing guy that can score the ball and play defense against the top wing players in the world. So I got them as one move away. I got the Miami Heat, man. Like that. They got a nice little team, man. Like I know you guys rep Bam Adebayo. He deserves the All-Star, having a career year, putting up 20 a game, struggling on offense the previous year. Like this year, he's actually put up 20 a game. Obviously, you know me, I love Jimmy Buckets, man. This guy in the playoffs is absolutely incredible, man. 3-level scorer in the playoffs, can defend both sides of the ball. Like Jimmy Buckets and Bam Adebayo, man. Miami Heat, though, man. Still need that complimentary, I would say, point guard, man, because the answer ain't Kyle Lowry. ain't Kyle Lowry, man. That's a one hole. They need like a point guard, man, that could set them up outside of Jimmy as a second ball handler and be able to shoot the three. That is not out of shape. So, okay, stop it. Stop it. So I got those two as my two teams that they're right there, man. But they're one little acquisition. It doesn't have to be a superstar and all-star. A nice little starter guy that plays like 20 to 25 minutes. That caliber of player. So,
you know who would have been nice for the Heat? Who? Beverly. He would have been a nice upgrade over Kyle Lowry. He would have.
Twist the knife, Sean. Twist the knife, man. Please.
Just say it. I know you guys are going to get into that, but Beverly would have been a nice addition.
Yeah. I mean, but once again, I don't think he's an over-the-top guy. I know Russ probably wouldn't fit in there. But
no, Russ wouldn't fit on.
They'd need someone of like that level where he can at least give you 14 points a night. You know what I mean? Like Pat Bev's just giving you a feisty guy on the bench, man. Just
I'm saying he would have fit the culture of defense, but
Pat Riley. I don't know if him and Pat Riley would get along, to be honest, and be in that culture. I mean, yeah, it's the feisty culture. Yeah, I get that, but Zoo, I'm actually a little surprised about that you didn't put the Knicks one move away.
Stop.
Really?
They're in a
with the Heat.
They're in like the play-in category, 7, 8, 9, 10. They might be on the upper echelon.
They have some solid
disrespecting Jalen Brunson, man.
No. I love
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson is having an all-star caliber year. Tom Thibodeau is having a hell of a coaching year, especially with the talent on the roster. They're overperforming their odds of wins. They've been a really good team. They had some really bad losses, so their record could be a lot better. They just had some absolute collapses. But I'm fading Julius Randle all day, every day. His numbers are actually pretty freaking phenomenal. Like 25 and 10. Like that's really good numbers. But when I watch that brother play, man, so left-handed dominant, man. Loves taking those jacking up little mid-range shots, man. Turns the ball over, missing free throws. I fade Julius Randle every playoffs, man.
So every playoffs, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So I have them in that playoff play-in tier with the Brooklyn Nets. All the New York teams are grouped in that little bunch, man. Yeah, like the Hawks, like that little tier, man. Like, nice little cute little story, man. 500, maybe a little +1, -1 game. Like that's what they are, man. A playoff / play-in team, man. They're in that middle. Man. So,
well, I'll kick off the bottom middle, Zoo, if you don't mind, because I think we can both agree that the worst team is in the East are the Hornets and the Pistons, man. They both have potentially bright futures. You know what?
I call it the Wemby tier, man.
Yes, that's the Wemby tier.
Trying to be the bottom 4 teams in the NBA to get that 14% chance of Wembanyama.
Absolutely. So I mean, you could throw a bunch of them kind of in that trending down. That they're kind of declining. Hate to kick it off this way, Zoo, but man, that is the Wizards and the Bulls.
Oh yeah.
You got the
mediocrity, man. I call them mediocrity.
The Raptors. Raptors kind of don't know what they're doing. OG's not happy there. Fred VanVleet clearly might be looking elsewhere as well. Yeah. They've already lost their 2 culture guys in Lowry and DeRozan over the past couple of years, man. This team is Scotty Barnes going forward, and they're going to need to add somebody. I think the Raptors, I don't know why. The Bulls are actually kind of doing what we want them to do right now, Zoo. They've lost 6 in a row. The Raptors, man, if they were to tank, I mean, Masai, he could be making some moves here, to potentially, obviously it's going to be really hard to trade in this draft because of how prolific Wembanyama can be and people expect him to be. But I'm not saying that you can count out a potential draft day move depending on who gets the lottery pick. So poise yourself for a decent percentage chance to get a lottery pick. And the team like the Wizards and the Raptors are both on that cusp of like, all right, do we want to sell 2 play-in playoff game tickets so we can make a little bit more money this year? Or should we play for our future and try and add on to the guys that we have currently? So that's kind of my bottom tier. I think Pacers are also in there as well.
Definitely in the
They have a very bright future, though. I love Miles Turner.
That backcourt.
Mathurin and Halliburton are solid.
Special.
Buddy Hield, absolute sniper. And Miles Turner is a above average big man.
He's a really good
this year. Having a career year and worthy of the extension. So
you got $30 million a year extension, man. Well deserved.
I'll let you talk on it, specifically the Bulls, though, because I know you're bound to get.
I hate to say
at least a minute.
I was telling P. Diddy about going through the stages of grief with my Chicago Bulls.
Oh, this was great.
Man, I went through the full stages of grief, man, because I'm at the just sadness,
5
man.
stages.
Like the 5 stages of grief, man. Because I saw all of them, man. Denial. I was like, man, my Chicago Bulls ain't this trash, man. This thing's definitely a 500 ball club, at least a 500 ball club, man. Man, then I felt anger when they lost to Orlando, man. Oh, well, they lost to Orlando.
Yeah, every time.
Banchero, the Rookie of the Year contender. How do you lose to that team? How do you lose to the San Antonio Spurs?
Yuck.
That is
for real.
That is disgraceful.
They haven't won a game in 14 games.
I don't care if Lonzo Ball's not playing. We're playing against a team which are 25-year-olds and younger, and we're losing that team. And we got DeMar DeRozan, who's an all-star, Zach LaVine, who's getting paid $200 million, and Vucevic, who wants a 4-year, $100+ million extension. And we're losing to the San Antonio Spurs, who's going full take-a-thon mode for Wemby? Stop it, man. That's just absolutely embarrassing, man. Absolutely embarrassing, man. I bargained, man. I'm like, yo, Bulls going to get a trade done, man. I had hopes and dreams of a KD trade. It's over. KD, the Phoenix Suns, man. It's over. I was like, yo, we get a point guard. Russell Westbrook, baby. Nope. You saw the Chicago Bulls, man. Disgraceful 6-game losing streak, man. It's cold in Chicago. I get to stay in my hometown. Play on the Clippers, man. Play with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Stay in my hometown. Play for Jerry West, Ty Lue, and compete against the Lakers, trying to knock them out, man. A little revenge season for Russell Westbrook. So I think he made the right decision of not picking the Chicago Bulls. I wanted the Bulls to get Westbrook because we had to hold the point guard position because I would assume Lando's starting point guard in the NBA, man. He's a cute player, man, but he ain't no starter. And now, man, I'm just full of sadness and acceptance right now, man. I'm just like, okay. Every time they lose, man, pull the take-it-down rankings. Okay, we're number 7 now. We got to move up, man. 32.1% chance, baby. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride. We got to get it done, man. Like, we got to get, like, I'll take a 9% chance of getting Victor Wembanyama, man. A 9 out of 100 chance? I'll take that. Like, you got the full tanking teams out there with a 14% chance, 5% chance difference, and we have a lot more wins. Like, I'll take those odds, man. I can only pray for a miracle because this will be a miracle, man. 9% chance. Those odds aren't that good right now. And they might win a couple more games at the end of the season. But at their position right now, I got the Bulls fighting the Pacers, man, for that worst seed right now, because every percentage matters.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams in the East vying for the same thing right now. A little bit more than the West.
I'm just praying. Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, ball out, man. Win some games.
Yeah.
I'm praying Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Mathurin, Buddy Hield, shoot some threes, play some defense, ball out, man. And I can't believe it. I'm back on this road, man. I'm rooting against my Chicago Bulls, man. I'm rooting against them again.
2017.
I'm getting flashbacks post Jimmy trade when I was watching the Shaq Harrisons, the Ryan Arcidiaconos right now. But our team is a lot better. But with this balanced NBA, you could be like a 40% win team and still get really good odds. It wasn't like back when, like 2 years ago, when you were winning 24 games and you're still like the 7th worst team in NBA. Like the NBA has never been more balanced than it's ever been. So this is the opportunity to tank. We might lose that pick, and I'll be heartbroken if it goes to Orlando. I'm done with this roster, man. I'm done with them.
Yeah,
it's not getting it done. We got to trade one of our 3 best players because they just do not fit. Their plus minus together is atrocious. We're the definition of mediocrity. To get out of mediocrity, it'll take some luck, and it'll take a transcendent player like Victor Wembanyama, the French God, man. Come to Chi-Town, baby. That's what we need, man. That's what we need.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have a choice in that. It's going to come down to EY spinning the wheel, man, and kicking the ball. So
I'm praying. I'm praying.
And I mean, and then on the West side, I mean, you could argue that the bottom 2 teams are obvious, right? You got the Spurs and you got the Rockets. Spurs are doing their job. You want to know? Of course, the Spurs play the system absolutely perfectly.
Exactly.
They start the season well. See ya, DeJounte. Adios. We're going to win some games in the beginning. They have a decent start. And then they're like, okay, Popovich, do your thing. Earn your most expensive coaching salary in the NBA right now. He's like, I got you. 14-game losing streak right now. Absolutely. They're a half game back of the Rockets for being the worst record in the league. If he goes to San Antonio, man, I won't even be surprised. They've had such luck with getting first overall picks, man, losing David Robinson, and then he obviously for a year.
All-time center.
Exactly. They get another all-time center in Tim Duncan the following year and win the championship. So, I mean, you're looking at those 2 teams. They're obviously at the bottom. I'm going to work my way from the bottom, Zoo. I got the Jazz, the Thunder, the Blazers.
Oh, yeah, Blazers. Mediocre.
Blazers that's a tough one.
And the Lakers. All in mediocrity.
The Lakers and the mediocrity?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And part of that reason is because of how stacked the West is. Now, not only because of the 2 major trades that happened, I still would have put them in maybe cusp above mediocrity if Kyrie and KD had not been traded. But now you got 2 more teams in the West that were already rather solidified in top 7. They got way better. So, I mean, that's why I'm considering the Lakers there. The Blazers, man.
Wow.
And they just refuse to help Dame Lillard, man. Anthony Simons,
and
very solid. Very solid. But he got hurt. And the Jazz kind of starting to do their job again, even with the glorious season that Lauri Markkanen's having. I thought they were going to give him the All-Star MVP just out of hope.
All-Star starter, man.
Unbelievable.
He deserved it.
And the Thunder, they've already gone through their rebuild. They already have all their arsenal of draft picks. They're waiting on some injuries and potential future drate picks.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
All I got to say,
coming to fruition.
If they get Wembanyama and pair him with SGA, man, the league should be a play. It should be a play.
Yeah.
Because they got some nice young talent. Like Josh Giddey, nice little point guard out there, man, along with SGA.
Lou Dort's always solid.
Lou Dort's a defensive, beast. Really tough guy. I really like
Jalen Williams is nice too. I like him.
Oh yeah, there's one good Jalen Williams and the bad Jalen. I know the good Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
It's the do-it-all wing type of dude. Not gonna lie, that Jalen Williams, man, low-key looks a little better than Patrick Williams, man. That's all I gotta say. They're like the same.
He looks really good.
Player, as a rookie, man, he's really having a really good season as a rookie.
Yeah.
For this young Thunder team, that's actually. Yeah, they're pretty mediocre, but they were definitely winning more games than I expected at all. I thought they're going to be in the full Wemby take goal, bottom 5, but they've been having a really, really good season. Almost a 500 ball club this year. Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Those picks in the West, man, they were definitely the mediocre tier. Yeah, the mediocre tier, man. OKC's future is bright, man. It is bright.
Yeah, very. Yes.
Yeah. I got to even shout out the Jazz, man. Lauri Markkanen, man. I look back at that trade by AK, and I start questioning my GM a little. I remember Jim Boylan turned my boy Lauri Markkanen into Ryan Anderson. Go to the corner. You're going to be the corner guy, stretch forward, don't move, shoot threes. We misused him.
Yep.
We lowered his value. Lauri Markkanen got turned into a standstill shooter. When you see right now, they got him like curling around, man. They got him dribble drive. They got him using
the Sexton too.
Yeah. Oh man, my God, man. We got Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. for Lauri Markkanen. We traded an all-star starter for a backup power forward and a pick that we're never going to get because the Portland Trailblazers are so mediocre. Keep missing the playoffs every single season. This is the Luol Deng trade all over again. We're never going to see the pick convert. Absolutely atrocious, man. I'm so happy for Markkanen, man. Especially for his
he deserved it.
Incredible season. Like the dude's averaging 24-8. And if you look at his career path, his statistics, I gotta make this comp again because I remember this is my scale when the Chicago Bulls first drafted him. You got the Bargnani as the floor, and you got Dirk Nowitzki as the peak. And right now on his career, for being such a young player, his stats are similar to Mr. Dirk Nowitzki, man. 24 points a game.
All right, Zoo. All right.
I'm saying the stats are similar.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's gonna be an all-time great like Dirk and change the game.
It's a little correlation.
But his statistics are similar.
Skill set, yeah.
Very skill set. The stretch four, shoot threes, absolutely. Like the dude was a
solid drive. They both can drive. Drive the ball.
Both got a little dribble package. Ain't just a standstill guy. So I got to shout out to Lauri Markkanen, man. The Jazz, Danny Ainge, shout out to Danny Ainge, man. All those draft picks, you got a blue chipper in Lauri Markkanen. They could be one of your cornerstone players. So. They got Markkanen
and Sexton's underrated, man.
Oh, yeah, Sexton's underrated. Too. People been sleeping on it, so I got to shout the Jazz. They're mediocre, man, but they got a bright future after dumping Rudy Gobert.
Man, this is where it gets hard though, because you kind of get into. I have three. So you call it mediocre. I'm calling these guys cusp outside of the play-in. All right, they could make a push if some things go right for them. I think it's the Pelicans. They need Zion healthy because when they have Zion, man. They could make some noise.
They're an elite team with Zion.
They're an elite team with Zion. But, even if he comes back, he always has the potential to get injured again. And I just don't trust him. I just don't trust him. Yeah. And Brandon Ingram also been a little untrustworthy this year, man, too. So it's just tough to watch this team. I think you could say the same thing about the Warriors, man, just with the Steph injury, not really sure
when
what's
is he
going on
coming
there.
back?
I haven't seen an exact timetable unless you guys have seen something else. But
I haven't either. That's it.
With how stacked the West is, man, it might be a little bit of changing of the guard, man. I don't know if the
really
push. So I'm not saying they're mediocre. They're obviously
they're definitely not mediocre.
They're mediocre without Steph. They are more mediocre without Steph.
They might be in the below mediocre without Steph. Correct. You don't have Steph. They're playing. They're playing for me.
Claw their way back up. They're gonna have to claw their way back up because I think there's gonna end up being some teams that pull away, some teams that kind of go back down. I think the Pelicans, T-Wolves are another one like that too, man. Just kind of always middling. Anthony Edwards, deserved All-Star, of course, man. But then you get into the interesting, man. The next six teams, I think, they're not contenders to all make the finals, but I think they're all considered.
One move away.
One move away. You want to do one move away? I'm going to say that's the Clippers, Kings, and Mavs.
You got the Clippers out, huh?
I do. I just don't. Wow. Once again, I see the other three teams as being better overall, and that's the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Nuggets.
Oh, you got
the Grizzlies. Those three are above.
With you.
Wow.
I love the Luke Kennard trade. I think they needed to give someone opposite of Desmond Bane for 3-point shooting, man, because Dylan Brooks ain't it, and we all agree there. That man is a menace as a person, and he's a menace when it comes to getting consistency.
He'll cost you a playoff game before he wins you one.
Exactly. Whereas Luke Kennard, man, he ain't saying shit. He's just going to go out there and he's going to nail a couple threes, potentially some big one. And, I know that the Clippers got Eric Gordon back because they traded Luke Kennard.
Bones Island got a little
Yep. That one as well. Obviously, they got Russ. Once again, man, the continuity there, they have a lot of depth up there in LA in the Clippers.
Powell's having a Norm Powell caliber year.
Norm Powell, Terrence Mann's always solid for them. The EG edition. I love Zubac, man. Underrated center in the league. Can absolutely destroy somebody down low. I watching him versus Jokic is always interesting. Big bodies.
Need a big in the West for sure. Just against face against
8-2. And then you got Steven Adams out there in Memphis. So, yeah, man, I got Memphis, I got Phoenix, and I got Denver as kind of my top 3. And then just below that, I got Clippers, Kings, and Mavericks, man. I think the Kings are going to be slept on, man. That's the thing is I think people are going to underestimate them in the playoffs because of inexperience. And that's, once again, this could be a second-round problem team, but I don't think they'll move past that.
Really?
Yeah.
I got the Sacramento Kings in that Q store, man. It's a nice team.
Really?
Yes. Like I know the Sacramento Kings in the regular season right now. Elite offense. They've been a top 10 offense this year. De'Aaron Fox has been one of the most clutch players in the NBA. Sabonis is having an all-time season, being the point center on the roster. They bomb a lot of threes. They don't really play much defense, but it's an offensive-minded team with Mike Brown, which is surprising because he's a defensive coach.
True.
They pretty much flipped the script into a full offense team. But it's a nice, like, I'm telling you, man, the youth and experience on this roster, man. They got one vet that's in the rotation, like Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else is extremely young. Like, their two best players, like Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, all these guys are extremely young with not much. Like, obviously, De'Aaron Fox, Herder too. Like, De'Aaron Fox is no playoff experience at all. And the playoffs are built a little more different. And being that clutch in the playoffs, having all that pressure on you, when defenses are going to focus in on you and double teaming you, and you got to make the right decision, not turn it over. I think that should be extremely tough for the Kings. So I got them in that playoff range, that 7-8 seed. Yeah, I have them dropping a little. They're having a really good record, but I'm not a buyer of the Sacramento Kings, man. Like, I have them with like that tier with the Portland Trailblazers. I am shocked to put Portland Trailblazers down there, man.
Really?
Because
I don't think the Kings are that bad.
I don't think.
I have Sacramento.
I don't think they're Portland.
I have them like 7-8, and then like 9-10 is the Blazers. So that play.
You know they're number 3 right now in the West.
I know. Oh, I know, man. I know.
Yeah, but they're only, to be fair,
the Bean
they're only
team,
3 games back from 7.
Is going to start regressing. That's all I got to say, man. Because winning clutch games, you know the rules about winning clutch games. You regress back to the mean. Winning a lot of clutch games means that you got maybe a little ball bounces one way that you get lucky, get a win.
In your favor, yeah.
Exactly. It's extremely hard to keep winning clutch games. And
I guess
feel like they're going to regress a little.
The only thing I would say to that is if you look at some of these other top teams, Clippers, Suns, Mavericks, Pelicans, Warriors, the Kings don't deal with injury issues as much as all those other teams. They're younger, right? They can last a little bit longer. They can run and gun, like you said. They're running up and down the floor. De'Aaron Fox is an absolute monster in transition, especially with Sabonis' ability to also bring up the ball. I mean, you got to respect that too. That I just think that longevity, obviously, I'm not saying they're going to make the finals and need that amount of longevity in Sacramento. But this last quarter of the season or so, who knows? Is Steph going to be 100%? Are the Pelicans going to be 100%? Could KD have a lingering injury? Is Booker's hamstring going to continue to cause problems? What about the Clippers, man? They've been dealing with injuries all year. Can't really get their entire team out on the floor at once. This Kings team has played together pretty much the entirety of the season. And I just think their camaraderie, once again, this is another team. They're playing with house money. They're the Nets, but they're better. And that's really what it is. They have more star power. They have more clutch ability. And they just, I don't know. I'm slightly believing in them, man. And it's really weird to say. And I'm kind of rooting for them. I want new teams to kind of start, like I said, the changing of the guard, man. The changing of the guard. So, I think that's a team I am heavily monitoring, Zoo. I agree with you. They could easily fall. They could easily stay the course, man. I think it's just going to really come down to who they play and who ends up being healthy.
I think it's more about who's behind them. Like, I just don't trust that, like, the Pelicans or Golden State is going to get super healthy. That's just how I look at it.
But, as you mentioned, Phoenix Suns are going to rise.
Yes.
Yeah. Phoenix Suns are going to rise up, definitely.
Yes.
I think when Dallas...
Mavericks are interesting.
Mavericks are interesting because I don't have them as a contender. I have them as a one-move-away type team.
Yep.
Because... as you mentioned, the depth, man. This team just lacks good basketball players in the rotation. Yep. Like outside like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, man, there's a severe drop-off in talent. You get some like nice role players. Like, but when Dwight Powell gets lots of minutes, that's a problem. That's a problem, man. Like the dude,
I was waiting for him.
Like, I'm sorry, man. Dwight Powell to me is like a third-string center type dude. Like that's the type of like talent. Like they really messed up that JaVale McGee signing. They paid him a
Larry
lot of
Nance
money
Jr., man. That's what he is.
I think Larry Nance is better. I think he's way better than Dwight Powell.
That's fair.
Yeah, like,
he can dunk
Powell,
at least.
When he gets the basketball in his hands, like, he just guy. It's like, oh man, it's like that kid.
Cristiano Felicio, is that better for you?
He gives me no Felicio vibe. He's like Skinny Felicio, man. He got everybody fooled, man.
Legend
on this podcast.
Like, I am still shocked they don't go full offense and start Christian Wood as like the center, as a stretch brig. Could shoot 3-pointers, get rebounds. And he's like, he gets some blocks. He's not the greatest defender, but he still could get some blocks. Because you just got to go full offense when you got Luka and Kyrie. Because both those guys, I would say, Kyrie, I think he's a little underrated defender, but I think he's like average/below average. Luka, I say average/below average. So you got to go all in on offense. And going Dwight Powell, stop. I'm telling you. You don't even need to guard this dude, man. You don't need to guard.
He tries hard. You got to give him that. He's trying to keep the
contract. If
contract.
he doesn't try hard, he doesn't got a job, man. Those are the rules.
Exactly.
They should go get Serge Ibaka.
Somebody
I think
signed
he's on the buyout.
Or is he on the buyout market?
Yeah, he's in the buyout market right now.
Yeah, he's old.
Maybe go get him.
They need to get infusion of talent because, like, Josh Green, nice young player, like a 3-and-D like type young player in development, man. But he's still like a work in progress. Like the Rock, like Tim Hardaway Jr. is like hot and cold type player, very streaky. Like he could be real hot, but he could be like the worst player ever because all he could do is jack up threes. They can't do much else on the basketball court. So it's pretty much Luka and Kyrie need to drop 30 a game, and they just got to outscore the opponent. And Reggie Bullock needs to be draining threes. Like they just need hitting like 40% from threes to win games.
Yeah, starting 6 for 6 for a game. Jesus Christ, man.
And that's what's going to cut it. And they need to get some defensive stoppers.
That's true.
To pair up, like role players to pair up with Luka and Kyrie, and I don't think they have that. So I think they're one move away just getting some role players. I don't think it's that hard finding these 3-and-D role players, but getting some role players to assist your 2 stars. That's the cornerstone of your franchise now. So they need some role players, man. So I'm not buying.
They're the perfect.
Being a championship contender.
The Mavericks are the perfect example of if everything clicks right, they could go to the finals based on their personnel around them. If their personnel, like say all those guys you named, are hitting shots, they're going to the finals.
Yep.
Because then it's going to make Kyrie and Luka's job. And you kind of saw a little bit of that last year in the playoffs. The reason why they got to the finals is because Luka was God mode, but also his supporting cast was hitting shots. Finney Smith was hitting shots. Hardaway was hitting shots. Like I think if their supporting guys hit shots, they're the one team that could streak to the finals. Because if you got any close game, I feel like if say for instance their supporting cast is able to maybe get them to Game 6 or Game 7, and it's a close game, I got my money on Luka and Kyrie. They're gonna figure that out. Because you got 2 of the biggest shot makers, and that's what it counts in the playoffs. Guys who can create their own shot and make it. So, but it's going to be streaky with those guys.
Yeah, the chemistry. Like I saw a couple of games, like in the clutch, they messed up in the clutch situation. One of them they couldn't get a shot out. Yeah, they were being too nice, man. They were being too nice, trying to pass it back and forth. Like, I'm telling you, when they figure out that pick and roll or pick and pop game, just Luka, Kyrie, screen and pop, man. That'll be unstoppable. That will be unstoppable if they figure out the chemistry in that, man. Because what are you going to do? You're going to need a help defender, and then you're going to get a wide open 3. So they need to figure out the chemistry, man. Jason Kidd, man, figure it out. This is your job.
Paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting paid a lot of money, and you got the point guard to assist Luka Doncic that you wanted. You pushed for this trade. Now it's your opportunity to figure it out. Because my goodness, man,
they could be really damn good, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, Azu, I want to ask you real quick because you have Nuggets and Suns as your top 2 teams in the West.
Sure. Nuggets.
And then you got Grizzlies potential third.
No, you forgot one. The Clippers, man.
Well, I wanted to lead into that because I know you want to talk about Russell a little bit. So that's why.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook and the Clippers, man. They got rid of all their point guards. Reggie Jackson, gone. Like
John Wall,
gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so they scrapped their entire point guard. Like they got him Bones Highland. He's a nice young player, but he ain't no starting point guard. Reminds me of little Ayo Dosunmu. He's that caliber of player. He's a nice little bench guy, man. Good in his role. Little streaky jump shooter, like spark plug. But he ain't no point guard. So they get a Russell Westbrook, man. And great decision for Russ. You get to play with PG, Kawhi Leonard, man. It's always good. But when I look at this, man, Russ can't really shoot. But he needs to focus on playmaking, man. That's the thing. Russell.
Good luck.
It's going to be hard. I called years about this guy. This dude got an IQ of a dodo bird, man. This dude's got all the talent in the world. Superstar talent, superstar athleticism. His body is just fucking built. Like, it is built. He's physically strong, physically fast. Like, he's a physical specimen. But up here, man, he traded his grain for bronze, man. He's a little dumb upstairs.
Basketball IQ is lacking sometimes.
It's really people always like, he's making bad. And people always hating on Russ for his IQ. And people are like, he's a good father. He's a nice guy. I don't give a damn, man. I don't give a damn. He's a nice guy off the court donating to charity. Good for Russ. Don't take it personally. Your basketball IQ is a little stupid. I'm not hating your real IQ, but your basketball IQ, when you're running up, jumping, passing, taking bad shots in the clutch, it's better. You are who you are. Tyronn Lue, you're getting paid big money. Figure it out. Figure it out, man. Darvin Ham obviously failed, had to bench the dude because starting Russell Westbrook did not work. Maybe Ty Lue could figure out with Russ, man. And Russ got humbled again, man. Like, this is like the 16th. This dude's been on a new team every single year since leaving the OKC Thunder. Every single year. So he's probably looking himself in the mirror like, man, I got to try to stay in this league. I can't get mellowed, man. I can't get mellowed. Nobody wants me. And maybe in this situation, man, he doesn't want to leave LA, man. I feel like
the opposite of Blake Griffin. Yeah, exactly. Blake Griffin accepted his role. Yeah. You know what I mean? Russ got to do something similar.
For sure. And I feel like this guy wants to stay in LA because his family. So he's going to try to get a contract extension. So he got money in his mind. And probably wants to stay on the Clippers with the championship contender. So he's going to be extra motivated. And this roster, I always said this roster on paper, man. It's only on paper right now because the injuries, but Kawhi Leonard has been absolutely on a tear. When he's been healthy, he's putting up like 28, 29 a game. Like, this dude is back into Kawhi Leonard mode. Yeah. Paul George is the perfect sidekick. You mentioned Zubac as a big to guard the big centers, man. Like Norman Powell.
Great shooting.
You got Eric Gordon, who's playoff proven shooter, and he's like a small little guy, but he's like a tough.
He's Desmond Bain, man. He's Desmond Bain.
Yeah. He got that built.
Short,
stocky, strong shooter. Like, I'm so impressed with what a shooter he is. So I really like the roster. I really like the coach. If they figure out this Russ situation, man, it would be a crazy story if Russ ends up winning a championship on the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, okay.
All I gotta say is I have the Clippers as a championship contender. No doubt in my mind. I gotta see it.
Hey, they were your pick at the beginning of the year, Zeus, so you had to keep it rolling.
Oh, I'm keeping with them, man. I'm keeping with them, man. I still love the roster. I still love the roster.
They're like I said, they're one move. They were one move away for me. That move is Russell Westbrook. We just haven't seen it come into play yet. And I think that's what I'm waiting to see. Otherwise, I think I would put them in the – I still think that them and the Grizzlies would have a hell of a good 7-game series.
Yeah, because you say you have the Grizzlies.
That would be a knockdown drag-out.
With the Suns and the Nuggets. Yep. And
I have them as a one move away because of the wing position, too. I've said this for years now. Dylan Brooks, it's called Dylan Bricks for a reason, man. Because the dude just chucks up a lot of shots. And they were searching. If you guys saw that, it was reported that they offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. 4 first-round picks.
Wow. I did not see that.
Like, as the GM, like, this guy's a really good GM. He drafted Desmond Bain. Like, he got a lot of, like, late guys on the roster, man. So this guy's a really smart dude. And if he's willing to trade 4 first-round picks, which is more valuable to him because he's a good general manager, willing to give that up for that 3-and-D wing guy that I was putting up OG and
he fits perfectly, though.
He fits perfectly. Like, mentally, he's the exact opposite of Dylan Bricks, man.
He can give you 45.
He's composed. He's a professional, man. Like, he could shoot threes. He's a really good defender, guard the best player. Like, he fits just so perfectly. And if they got that deal done, championship contender, man. Yeah, but Dylan Bricks is still in the starting lineup, so I got them out, man. But shout out to the Grizzlies trying to get a deal done because I am shocked. But 4 first-round picks?
It's just that the Suns were so gunned in on getting KD and they knew that they'd have to package.
This is with the Nets.
Oh,
yeah.
This is post KD trade.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Imagine like the Nets go forward, but the Nets obviously want to build around Mikal Bridges. They don't have any reasons to take this. They don't own their picks, so they're trying to be a relevant team right now. So they shut down the trade. But very interesting. That's coming from the mind of the GM. So that's why I have the Grizzlies out of the
interesting
year.
Yeah, I got the West is
rising the Cavs.
That top 6 is brutal in the West. I think any one of those 6 teams besides the Kings, guaranteed, could win the championship if they got hot.
Oh yeah.
But then again, the Kings have some of the best shooting in the league. You know, so if those guys, to your point earlier, Sean, if De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are playing well and their shooters are getting hot, It's going to be tough. They have one, like you said, Zoo, top 10 offense in the league, man. That could easily be top 5 once you look into playoff intensity. It's just going to be, can they play a lick of defense? But, man, when Sacramento has some home playoff games, that place is going to be going berserk.
Oh, man. They got a great home crowd, man. They don't really have
That's all they got.
Teams, man. Like, you got the Kings, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. But I agree with you, man. I do think Russ to the Clippers was a nice addition. Just got to see it proven, man. Just got to see it proven.
The only thing with Russ, I would have loved this move even more if, say, you know how they got Bones Highland, they would have maybe got a decent starter, and Russ would have been in a 6-man role. I would have absolutely loved this, loved it to where I would have been like, maybe the Clippers could actually be a championship contending team with Russ coming off the bench, him leading the second unit. I just get nervous because his basketball IQ and his tunnel vision that he gets, if you get into a playoff series and he's taking shots away from Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and he's like, say for instance, they're down 5 and Kawhi hasn't seen the ball in the last 2 positions and Russ just takes a mid-range shot. Like, if you're a Clippers fan, it's going to drive you crazy. That's the only thing that concerns me about it. And the fact that he's going to be the starter means he's going to have control of the ball. And on that team, who's the leader? I don't see Kawhi or Paul George telling Russ, yo, stop. I don't see that. Russ going to be like, I think that was part of the reason why he worked with the Lakers, because he did that a lot of the Lakers, but I mean, on a LeBron-led team, you can only get away with that with so much before you're out of there. I don't see anybody on the Clippers who are actually going to challenge him when he's taking those type of shots. Ty Lue's going to have to do it.
That's a good point.
That's got to be Ty Lue's job. That'll be I want to say that's probably the toughest job of all the remaining contending teams out of everybody. That's reining Russell Westbrook in and making him realize, look, bro, you are a special talent. You have special talented teammates. Like you say, get into the playmaking role, get into a position where you're feeding those guys and then attacking when you can attack. Because if he truly adapts that, they're definitely a championship contender, because they're probably probably the deepest team in the West, 1 through 11, 1 through 12. Like, they got a lot of guys that can go. So that's just I got to see it. Like, to people's point, I got to see it. And him being a starter, I just don't have a lot of faith, because the Clippers have had deep teams since Paul George and Kawhi's gotten it.
Paul George, Kawhi Leonard
got hurt last year. He got hurt last year. But
they've been deep since CP3 and Blake Griffin, man. They've had great surrounding talent, and they just haven't gotten it done in a decade.
Because what's funny about them is, say for instance, they get Russ going and he's playing like a true point guard, or not a true point guard, but a distributing point guard that could score. If say for instance they're in the second round and they're playing against the Phoenix Suns, like, you want to talk about depth? Because they have the depth in the stars. That could be a very interesting.
Oh man, that could be very interesting.
That could be very interesting, bro. Because it's like, and I know we're all penciling in the Suns because of KD, but it's like the depth part is kind of scary, because it's like everybody has to hit, and then say for instance when KD and Book are on the bench.
Oh, Torrey Craig time, man. Torrey Craig.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So it's like, and I doubt they're gonna ever have lineups where both of them on the bench. They're probably gonna have one off, one on. So because you can't do that with that roster. Sure. But it's gonna be. To me, it's with the East and the West. It's gonna be matchups. Like however these teams get matched up is how it's gonna work. Like, whatever team gets the best first or second round matchups, that's just how the chips are gonna fall. Because you could, like, just looking at it right now, like the Kings, their first round matchup would be the Mavericks. Like, I don't think I could pick the Kings in that one.
Oh yeah, I gotta think the Don and Uncle Drew.
Yeah, man. I don't think I
gotta take Don and Uncle Drew.
And then you look at the Suns, like, I'm not Suns, but let's say another one, like the Nuggets and whoever would. It's kind of hard because of the play-in, but I think they would wipe the floor. But say, for instance, the Warriors got through in the play-in and somehow got the
Nuggets
18.
Warriors. I would be nervous. I know Pete.
Especially if Steph came back.
You have the Warriors as like a more like playoff playing. I still have the Warriors as a championship contender.
I don't.
Oh yeah. I'm saying it right now, man. If the Denver Nuggets play the Golden, if obviously Steph Curry got to be healthy, recover from his hand injury. But if he comes back,
that's the biggest if.
That's a big if. I think that's pretty likely to happen. Coming back from that. It's not a risk. It's not like a catastrophic knee injury. Like, he's coming back.
I don't know. It might be because they haven't given a timetable. That's the only thing that's like, why haven't they given a timetable?
Hands are annoying. A lot of little bones.
Maybe around 2 weeks post All-Star break. So that's like the little time frame they gave. But
wait, no, you know about Steph's injury? I thought Steph had a knee injury.
It was a hand injury.
I thought he had a knee injury. He bumped knees when his last time he got hurt. He might have had a hand injury before, but I thought he had a knee injury. And they've been vague about it. That's why I was just like, I've just kind of made them kind of like, because I thought he had bumped knees or something like that, to where they kind of talked about
tears.
Live broadcasting right now. Research.
Lower leg contusion.
Oh yeah, you're
partial
right.
tears to his superior tibiofibular ligaments.
Okay, that does not sound so good, man. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little more nervous now, man.
Yeah, retract your statement, man.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm not gonna retract it though, man. I'm still not gonna, because I don't bet against greatness, man. I don't bet against greatness. I have a rule against Patrick Mahomes injured. Couldn't bet against him.
You're gonna bet against.
I'm not gonna bet against him.
You're gonna bet against the now after this year potential 3-peat MVP in Jokic.
I'm not saying I'm not.
That's greatness. That is greatness.
Jokic, I love Jokic. The dude is on track right now to be a 3-time back-to-back MVP, which hasn't been done since Larry Legend. So I'm not gonna take away from that. But I'll be nervous if I'm a Nuggets fan.
Yes.
If I'm playing,
it's a trap
Steph
series.
Curry, Klay Thompson.
Yeah. I would pick if Steph is healthy. I would pick the Warriors. I would pick them if Steph's really healthy. Yeah,
100%.
Because that starting lineup this
setback
year has one of the best plus-minus ratings in the NBA when they're healthy, when they're starters.
Yeah.
The bench is trash, but starters have been absolutely dominant this year. So the bench has been letting them down. So obviously the Steph, lower leg, that does get me a little more nervous, man. Not gonna lie. Leg injuries, man. Leg injuries are very scary, man.
Yeah.
But I have a rule: I don't bet against greatness, man. So. Steph
and when
Curry,
you do, you lose. So
still a championship contender, man. I still believe he's a championship contender.
One team I want.
The West is gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell, man.
Yeah, the West is.
These lines are juicy. I didn't think
both conferences are going to be a gauntlet, but the West for me is since Katie and Kyrie come up, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. It's going to be I wouldn't be surprised in each series is going 5-6 games at least 6, because it's going to be a lot of even matchups, especially if, like you said, Steph came back and they're playing the Nuggets. Like that would probably be a hell of a series. One team I'm monitoring that I wrote down in my notes that you're not going to publicly say anything, you're going to save face, but you're having some internal meetings and you're sitting at the drawing board and you're thinking to yourself, like, what is our plan the next couple of years? And I know everyone, or you got not everyone, but you guys talked about the Pelicans. There needs to be some internal conversations about the direction of the team. There needs to be a lot of internal conversations, and that's dealing with the number one pick. You can't have Zion in his third year? I think has to be. Is it third or fourth?
I think it's fourth.
Because fourth year.
Fourth. You can't seriously just say, "Hey, he's Zion, he's great, and we're just going to keep rolling with the punches." You got to give him the money because he's the number one pick, but you got to start having some internal. You're not going to tell Zion this. You're not going to tell anybody outside the wall, the people who make the decision. You're not going to put that out there. But if I'm doing my due diligence, I'm having some conversations about Zion, his health, and what is the direction of this program. Because you also look at Brandon Ingram. He hasn't been necessarily healthy when Zion's been here. Or even been healthy, because when Zion's been healthy, Ingram's been out. Yeah. So you got to start having some conversations about, like, do we need to start having future conversations about what we should do? Like, for instance, if Wembanyama was coming out 2 years from now, I would be having some thoughts about taking for him. I would, and I would probably get off Zion. I probably
keep this in mind this year, though.
If he was coming out 2 years.
They own the Los Angeles Lakers pick, unprotected.
Yeah, they do.
So
that's a fact. Obviously,
the Lakers been absolutely tragic right now. So they have a decent odds of getting Victor Wembanyama. They're in the Victor Wembanyama.
They're like the 8th or 9th right now.
Yeah, 8th or 9th. So yeah. So keep that in mind. So
I don't know. I just my and I know they have all the draft conversation. It's just my worries with Zion. He's just at this point not. I don't bet. If I had to bet my life on it, he's not going to be healthy ever. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think it's happening.
I've been saying that for years, man. But nobody.
I just don't think it's happening. That makes me nervous if I'm a Pelicans fan, because it's like what else options do you have? Because you can't really, and that's why I say you keep this internal. You don't go next year and say we're trading Zion, but it's like he's got. If I'm in the front office, I'm having conversations like he's got one more year. If this dude can't stay healthy after next year, we're thinking about getting off him.
And to be honest, with the guys getting older that you mentioned, Ingram, injury issues as well, McCollum. If they blow this team up and Zion's there by himself, he's leaving.
Yeah.
So you got to do something, right? You either got to get capital for him if you know he's going to leave because you missed your window, mainly because he was injured all the time.
Yeah.
So they're man, the Pelicans, man, they've been stuck between a rock and a hard place, man, for God knows how long. Pretty much since they got denied the CP3 to Lakers trade, man. That's really when it all started going downhill for that New Orleans organization.
It all goes back to that. Yeah,
it all goes back to that. The NBA just kind of screwed them over at that point. Then they lose out on AD. They try and help him with Boogie, man. That doesn't work out. AD leaves, get Zion, and now we got all the issues, man. So, but if he comes back healthy,
it hurts to hear that, man. It hurts to hear that, man, because Zion as an individual talent when he's on the court,
he's
man,
amazing.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, man. He's so good.
He's like a 6'6" Shaq.
He's a better Charles Barkley. That's what he is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His athleticism, like he's not very ambidextrous. You know he's going left. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He just goes in the paint and just dunks on you, man. It's the definition of bully ball. Like the dude's career average is 25 points a game.
Yeah.
25 a game. This guy's an absolute bucket, man. It doesn't really
just like Julius Randle.
Yeah. Okay, let's not disrespect Zion like that.
Well, he's better than Julius Randle, but yeah, the same.
Zion got some guard skills too, man. Got some guard skills. Yeah, but man, here's the
like I said, I'm just internally. We're on the drawing board. We're locking the door. We're closing the blinds, and we're talking about this. We're not. This doesn't get out to the public because then it'll just cause massive panic within Pelican Nation. But yeah,
within ESPN,
we got to start having a real conversation because. I don't know. He just hasn't been healthy, and like the thing is for me, I'm not optimistic about him staying healthy because of just his style. Like you can't it's just if you're being honest, being that big and running around and jumping, it's not going to get better with age. So it's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to hope that he stays healthy, and it's like I don't see it. I just don't see a guy that big. Charles Barkley did it, but I mean, he just some guys are just they just know how to stay healthy, and Zion is just. And I don't know his diet. I can't speak to any of that stuff, but I'm just saying his rap has been not being healthy. And then it's like, I would feel way more confident if Ingram was like a stud and was super, like always like that, my guy that was my go-to guy. I'd be like, okay, well, we'll just figure out Zion. But Ingram's been having issues. And I don't know. That's just one team to watch. There's just one team to watch with,
But if I'm the GM, man,
conversation.
If I'm the GM, Zion obviously been injured pretty much his first couple seasons, man. It's very similar to Joel Embiid, man. Joel Embiid's career start, like we didn't know because we saw the talent immediately as a rookie. This guy won't play like 30 games. I'm like, that dude's the rookie here. This dude's the second coming of like these 7-footers that we haven't seen in a long time. And obviously, he up and down, missing a lot of games. But in the last couple seasons, man, he's been relatively healthy. Obviously, in the playoffs, gets a little banged up, but he still plays through injury. He turned his career around because in his contract extension. They didn't give him a fully guaranteed contract. They put some injury exceptions in there because the dude was a bona fide Band-Aid. But he's been relatively more healthy, playing 60, 70 games. Like, this dude's been playing a lot of regular season games. And as the GM of the Pelicans, I could just pray that Zion turns his career around.
He changed his game, though, Zoo. He changed his game. He became more of a face-up shooter, though, if you noticed, Embiid. And that's when he started not getting injured.
And Zion and Joel's games are
Zion has not done that.
Zion can't really shoot.
He can't shoot. He hasn't done that. And he does not really have the best post moves. He just has a great crossover, and then he just pile drives into you.
Brute strength,
brute strength. Not that it takes a lot of skill, and obviously he's a God-given talent. That's where it mostly comes from, is his God-given ability and size. But Embiid changed his game in order to avoid those injuries, like I said. We're going to have to see Zion do that. Maybe he has been doing that during his injury spurts, just shooting jump shots. He should be doing that because that'd change everything. I think it would change everything. And even if he still played bully ball, you now have to respect his jump shot game, which not only takes a little bit of the injury issues away, it's still always a possibility, but it just makes their team so much better as well. And he can become a playmaker too, if that's the case.
Yeah, and he's actually shown the ability to be a playmaker in limited sample size. So yeah, it's the talent is there. We all know Zion could be one of the best players in the league. It's just how I've seen the trajectory of these players. Like we've seen this blueprint before, and I'm one of those guys. I'd rather get out ahead of it, and especially with the Pelicans, they have a lot of capital and stuff. So it's not like they're just bare and they're like how it's like similar to the Lakers situation where with AD. They kind of need him to be healthy because they don't have as many assets. The Pelicans have options and tradable assets on that team to where I think they can figure out some moving stuff around if Zion doesn't work out. So it's not like it's despair if Zion doesn't work out. Now it would hurt, but it's not despair. It's not despair.
Yep.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, and like Victor aside, if somehow the Pelicans was able to finagle away and get the number 2 pick and get Scoot, I'd see you later, Zion. I'd do that. I'd do it.
Wow.
I'd rather bet on Scoot.
Obviously, you get good capital back, obviously.
Yeah, you get good capital, and you would have the guys with Scoot. Because Scoot, Victor is the guy we know, but I've been looking through the draft, and they talk about Scoot like he's generational too. So it's like, and like you say, Zoo, it's
Bulls for the guards, number 2, man.
The guards, man. Hey, I would not be mad if I got Scoot. If you got Scoot somehow too, like, an explosive
got a little
point guard
bit more
that can
hope
shoot.
now. He's like, what's the percentage for the number 2 pick?
1%? Be mad.
Listen.
Zoo would be ecstatic if the Bulls got the number 2 pick because he would have a bona fide explosive point guard that can shoot. Yeah. That would be a nice building.
And with Lonzo's knees pulling a Brandon Roy right now, man. I'm a little bearish.
Oh man, Brandon Roy.
That's what I'm getting, man.
Oh man.
At least should not take a year, man. It should not take a year to recover.
Hey, Zoo, we might have offended you with the whole Zion topic, but at least we didn't bring up the name Greg Oden, man. So don't say that about Lonzo with Brandon Roy, man. Come on.
Greg Oden was that guy.
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, man. I mean, these playoffs are going to be ridiculous, and there's a lot of guys that are injured and have been the past like 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's going to be a hell of a push, especially in the West, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. And I got to mention one more thing. The point differential is one of my favorite stats in the NBA. It values like a team perfectly. The point differential for the elite teams is not that high. Usually, you have a couple teams with like win plus minus is up 10 points a game, just annihilating every team night over night. You're looking at the top of the West. It's a +4.
Yep.
And you look at the bottom. Obviously, you got the Spurs and the Rockets, like -10, -8, absolute dog shit. But outside of that, it's the Lakers as a -1. So the talent differential from the 1 seed to the 13th seed, it is not that big. It is like I've never seen it so.
West is now stacked again.
Like 1 to 13, like obviously the 2 dog shit teams, 1 to 13, they're relatively like close based on talent level. Lakers got LeBron and AD, and now they got role players.
And they're the 3rd worst team in the West right now.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, put it in that way. Yeah.
You got LeBron dropping 30 a game, 80, obviously a Band-Aid boy. He's dropping like 26 and 10.
Austin Reeves.
Okay, Austin. I guess some nice role players. Malik Beasley.
Well, I like Austin Reeves.
Beasley's nice.
Nice little wing.
Yeah, Malik Beasley is a sniper, man. Like, Dennis Schroeder's been balling. Like, it's a nice team.
The 13th seed, that's when you put it that way. It's crazy, bro.
-1. Like, that's like, -1's like a little below 500. That's like the caliber of team that the Lakers are.
Yep.
A little more spread out in the East, but even like the Pacers and Magic, -2.
Yeah.
Like, and the
NBA's balanced again. It's about damn time.
I don't think it's ever been this balanced. This is like
probably not.
Because Adam Silver during the All-Star game said he's never seen the league more balanced in his entire life or his career is like working for the NBA, and that guy would know he's been working for the league for years now. So it's incredible to see the league this balanced.
And then think about when, say for instance, Victor, wherever he goes, that's gonna in a year or two gonna make it even more. Yeah, it's gonna imagine if he ends up going to the bottom 14, one of those teams. That's gonna make it even more of a balance. Yeah. It's just so much talent going into the league. It's a lot. The league is very healthy right now with just incoming players. It's very, very healthy with just the amount of high caliber play. Like, it's gone are the days I feel like of we just have a guy at number 1 through like 5, like the players that can be drafted top 5, and they're just there by default. Like, I think these guys who are in like these top 5s are guys that would be number 1 picks over a span of like past drafts and all that stuff. Like they would be number 1s in a lot of drafts. They're not just default guys. I felt like maybe 10 years ago, a lot of the guys at number 1 and number 2.
No more Otto Pointers drafted in the top 3, and no more Anthony Bennett.
That's over. That day is over.
Some of those drafts are so bad. Mario Hezonja, top 5 picks. Stop.
Yeah. Those days are definitely over. So shout out to the NBA, man. They're definitely peaking at the right time. And with this last little stretch run, we're going to be covering that on the Bullheaded_pod page on Instagram, also on our TikTok, Bullheaded864. Putting out some of the best content when it comes to football, basketball, baseball, any of that type of stuff. audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, posting every Friday. So you guys check that out. And for me, Zoo, the P. Bush,